Everyone, welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving headfirst into some really foundational wisdom, stuff that honestly still totally shapes how we think and live.
Absolutely. We're talking about three giants, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle.
Yeah, these weren't just abstract thinkers, were they? They were like truth seekers, mind openers, wisdom warriors, you could say.
That's a great way to put it. And what's amazing is how their ideas, born thousands of years ago in ancient Greece, still feel so relevant.
Right, they're not just dusty figures in a history book. Their philosophies, well, they offer practical blueprints for living a more examined life, a more virtuous one.
And a more balanced life, even with all the chaos of, modern living.
And that's exactly what we want to do in this deep dive. Think of this as your shortcut to really getting a handle on ideas that have, literally built civilizations.
And ideas that still offer incredibly practical guidance today. Our mission here is to pull out those key nuggets of knowledge from their teachings. And this is crucial, show you how these ancient insights can actually help transform your life right now.
Yeah, we want to make these concepts, which can seem kind of dense, feel clear, engaging, and directly relevant to your day-to-day.
No overwhelm, just hopefully some of those aha moments.
Exactly, those moments that just shift your perspective a little.
Okay, so let's kick things off with Socrates. He's often called the midwife of wisdom, which I find fascinating because he never actually wrote anything down himself. How does that work?
It is pretty remarkable, isn't it? A foundational figure who left no texts of his own. But Socrates' whole thing, his core belief, was that the unexamined life is not worth living.
Yeah, okay.
And the key part is he didn't really give answers. He believed wisdom wasn't delivered, it was drawn out through questions.
Ah, so that's the Socratic method we hear about.
Precisely. It wasn't him standing there lecturing. He saw himself as helping others give birth to their own understanding.
So it was more like guiding people to their own insights.
Exactly that. It was this dynamic back and forth process, dialogue. He'd ask question after question, sort of gently chipping away at assumptions.
Getting people to think about why they believed what they thought they knew.
Yes. It's a really powerful way to uncover truth, both about the world and, maybe more importantly, about yourself, through that self-reflection and logical inquiry.
Which leads straight to his big lesson for us, right? Question everything, especially your own assumptions.
In a world that often runs on quick takes and, social media bubbles, that feels more relevant than ever, doesn't it?
It really does. It's about pushing back against certainty, maybe.
I think so. It encourages a kind of healthy skepticism, not just about what others tell you, but really looking inward at your own deeply held beliefs, the ones you rarely examine. It's about intellectual humility.
Okay, speaking of humility, this brings me to maybe his most famous and kind of challenging idea. I know that I know nothing. How is that helpful? Sounds like just admitting defeat.
But it's not defeat at all. That statement, well, it's actually revolutionary. It's the ultimate declaration of that intellectual humility we just mentioned.
How so?
It means recognizing the sheer vastness of what you don't know. And that recognition, that's the only true starting point for genuinely seeking knowledge. It's like the original growth mindset.
So admitting you don't have all the answers is the first step to actually finding some.
Exactly. If you think you already know everything, where's the motivation to learn? That knowing nothing is the door opening to growth, to real understanding.
Okay, that makes more sense. So how can people, listening right now actually put some Socratic wisdom into practice?
Well, one really practical thing is reflective journaling. Don't just list what you did today. Ask yourself why. Why did I react like that? What assumption was behind that decision?
Using the journal to question yourself, basically.
Precisely. And second, try engaging in more mindful conversations, instead of just jumping in to react or argue.
Which is so easy to do.
Oh, absolutely. Instead, consciously pause. Ask yourself, okay, why might they believe this? Or what's their perspective, even if I disagree? It shifts the focus from winning to understanding.
Good one. And a third.
Embrace not knowing. Seriously, don't fear saying, I don't know. Use it. See it as a starting point, an opportunity to learn something new.
Not a weakness, but a launch pad.
You got it. The minute you think you've got it all figured out, well, that's when the learning stops.
Okay, so Socrates challenges us to question. Then comes his most famous student, Plato, who you called the architect of ideas. He seems to take things in a different direction.
He really does. If Socrates was about tearing down assumptions, Plato was about building grand conceptual structures. He constructed whole philosophical systems.
And famously, this idea of the world of forms, can you break that down? It sounds a bit out there.
It is a bit mind-bending, yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, Plato believed that the physical world we perceive with our senses, this table, that chair, even a beautiful sunset, isn't the true reality.
Okay. So what is...
He thought these physical things are just imperfect copies, like shadows, of perfect eternal forms or ideas that exist in a higher, purely intellectual realm.
So there's like a perfect chairness somewhere, and all physical chairs are just flawed copies.
That's the basic idea, yes. And the same goes for concepts like justice, beauty, or goodness.
Mm.
True knowledge, for Plato, wasn't about studying the imperfect physical world, but about using reason to grasp these perfect, unchanging forms.
And he explores this in the Republic, right? His big work on justice and the ideal state.
Exactly. The Republic dives deep into this, outlining a society ruled by philosopher kings, individuals who could perceive these forms and would rule justly based on that higher understanding.
So if we boil down Plato's core message, what's the central lesson for us?
I'd say it's truth and virtue exist beyond the material world. Seek higher meaning. It's a call to look past the superficial, the temporary.
And search for something deeper, something more enduring.
Precisely. Something grounded in those eternal ideals, not just fleeting appearances or desires.
Which connects to that quote of his, "The greatest wealth is to live content with little." How does that fit in?
Well, if you truly believe that ultimate reality and value lie in those non-material forms like justice, wisdom, virtue, then chasing endless material possessions or fleeting pleasures starts to seem less important.
Ah, so real wealth isn't stuff, it's aligning yourself with those higher ideals.
That's the Platonic view. True contentment comes from cultivating inner virtue and understanding, not from external accumulation.
That definitely resonates today with consumer culture and all that. So, practically speaking, how can you apply Plato's thinking?
Okay, first, practice looking beyond appearances. In any situation, with any person, consciously ask yourself, what's the deeper principle here? What's the underlying truth or value I should focus on?
Don't just take things at face value.
Right. Second, actively engage with things that broaden your perspective beyond the everyday. Read philosophy, sure, but also maybe spiritual texts, deep literature, art, anything that makes you ponder existence, ethics, purpose.
Stretch your minds beyond the mundane.
Exactly. And third, maybe most challenging, consciously try to design your life around virtue. Instead of just asking, what will make me happy or what will get me ahead, ask, what is the right thing to do? What kind of person do I want to be?
Focusing on character over acquisition.
That's a great way to put it.
All right, so from Plato's world of forms, we move to his most famous student, Aristotle. And you called him the master of balance. He sounds more grounded.
Much more grounded, yes.
Yeah.
While Plato looked towards a transcendent reality, Aristotle was fascinated by this world. He was an incredible observer, a categorizer studying everything from biology and physics to ethics and politics, very empirical.
And his big idea for happiness, eudaimonia, is tied to this balance idea, right? The golden mean.
That's central to his ethics, absolutely. He believed true happiness or human flourishing isn't about hitting extremes. It comes from living a life of virtue. And virtue for Aristotle almost always lies in a balance between two vices.
The not too much, not too little thing.
Exactly. So courage isn't recklessness, which is an excess. And it's not cowardice, which is a deficiency. It's finding that appropriate, virtuous midpoint in a given situation.
Like finding the right amount of honesty, not being brutally blunt, but also not being deceitful.
Perfect example. And this applies across the board: generosity, temperance, even humor. It's about finding that sweet spot.
And his influence is just immense, isn't it? Logic, science, ethics. He laid the groundwork for so much.
Staggering, really. His systematic approach, his methods of inquiry, these shaped Western thought for centuries, and the foundations are still there in many academic fields today.
So what's Aristotle's core takeaway for us, his central lesson?
I think it boils down to live with purpose and moderation. Excellence is a habit. He connects living virtuously directly to our actions and, crucially, our consistency.
Which brings us right to that incredibly famous quote, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. What does that really mean for us day to day?
It's profound, isn't it? It means your character, who you are, isn't defined by some grand one-off gesture or some innate quality. It's forged by your daily choices, your repeated actions.
So you literally build yourself through your habits.
That's exactly it. It puts the power squarely in our hands. Excellence, virtue. These aren't things you're just born with. They're things you cultivate through practice. through habit.
Wow. Okay, that's powerful stuff. So, how do we put Aristotle into action?
First, pretty straightforward. Practice that daily self-discipline and balance. Look at all areas: work, food, exercise, rest, social life. Are you tending towards extremes? Try to consciously seek moderation.
Finding that golden mean in everyday life.
Yep. Second, actively work on cultivating specific virtues. Don't just wish you were more patient or courageous. Identify situations where you can practice patience or take a small, courageous step. Make it a conscious project.
Building the habit, one action at a time.
Exactly. And third, use logic. Aristotle was the father of formal logic after all. When making decisions, especially big ones, try to consciously balance emotion with reason. Step back, analyze pros and cons, think through consequences.
Don't just react emotionally. Engage your rational mind.
Right, it's about finding that balance again, even in our thinking process.
Okay, so bringing this amazing triad together, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, it really feels like a complete toolkit.
It really does. You start with Socrates, who teaches us the absolute necessity of questioning, digging deep, challenging assumptions, especially our own. That's the foundation.
Self-awareness first. Then Plato comes along and lifts our bays, doesn't he?
Mm.
He teaches us to seek higher meaning, to look beyond just the material.
To connect with those deeper truths, those ideals like justice and beauty and goodness, to aspire to something more.
And then Aristotle brings it all back down to earth. He gives us the practical how-to actually live a virtuous, flourishing life through balance, purpose, and importantly, habit.
Exactly. Questioning, aspiring, and acting with balance. It's an incredibly powerful framework for, well, personal mastery and just living a deeper, more meaningful life.
And it's amazing how relevant it all still feels thousands of years later.
Truly timeless wisdom.
So we've covered a lot of ground. This journey into their ideas, well, it's really just the beginning for you listening.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's a little challenge for you. We want you to pick just one insight from today, one idea from Socrates, Plato, or Aristotle that really resonated with you.
Maybe it was Socrates' call to question your assumptions, or Plato's idea of looking for deeper meaning, or maybe Aristotle's point about excellence being a habit.
Whatever it is, just pick one and then commit to actively trying to live it for the next 7 days.
Don't just mull it over, do it. Maybe journal about how it's going, consciously practice it in a conversation, apply it when you make a decision.
See what happens when you intentionally bring this ancient wisdom into your modern life. It really can start to reshape your reality.
Absolutely. The power to transform using these incredible tools is literally right there for you. Give it a try.